Welcome to the India Joy Influencer Con 2021.
Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Influencer Con, and today we are going to talk to Sandeep Kochar on how to influence or how to be a storyteller, his journey. So each business needs to use storytelling to answer the simple questions of why should people care, or whether they are targeting customers or potential employees or stakeholders. Stories have existed since the dawn of time and were used to entertain and educate. They are one of the strongest driving force in the universe, being able to start revolutions, unite people, and bring joy. So, welcome, Mr. Kochar. This is Asha, your host.
Thank you so much, Asha.
So, let's begin with one major question.
Yes.
So, what is storytelling? What's corporate storytelling is?
So storytelling is basically a process of communication where you make it interesting for the reader, the viewer, the listener, whoever it is, and you change the message according to your audience. So basically, it means that if you are, let's say, you want to communicate a difficult message to somebody, how can you make it, in a way that it may not sound rude or it may not sound, let's say, it is something that you can easily understand, and at the same time, you are able to also, digest even a tough message very easily. So rather than giving somebody feedback that you're not doing something appropriately, is there a way that you can talk about it differently? So storytelling is also a way of sharing an example, which could help you understand how could you do it differently. It can also help you think differently, because when you hear a story, you also remember that for a longer time, and it can influence the way you are thinking. So suppose, let's say you have somebody in your office who has achieved something very interesting or big in his life or her life. Then you start to kind of, once you hear that story of that person, you start to think that, okay, it's possible. So storytelling is about possibilities. It is also about hope. So sometimes when you are doing a lot of things and you get stuck in your life, you start to get maybe in some ways you feel that you are disappointed, or you're low, or you're not feeling up to scratch. Then you kind of, when you listen to somebody's story, you start to kind of think that maybe there is a way out of this. So storytelling is about hope. It is also about emotion. So, when you feel something, an emotion inside you, and if you can express that, that is storytelling basically. Now, storytelling generally will not have too much logic in it, but business storytelling, you can include some logic and to make it little digestible to the business audience as well. But essentially, storytelling is the simplest form of communication, which even a child can understand. And you don't need to use too many words. The story just does the talking.
So, you just mentioned about communication. Actually, that reminds me of one thing that a good communication is the backbone of any strategy. So, but what's happening right now and what is trending right now is people who are consuming the story, they can interpret your story differently. So, so there's always this risk. So, as a storyteller, how do you handle that? How do you basically handle this kind of situation when it goes down the hill?
So a storyteller should take risks, because if you don't take risks, you will not go to the other side. And the more risks you take, the more you may get into a territory where magic can happen. So I would say a storyteller is like an entrepreneur who has to take risks. Now, an entrepreneur takes risks with his time, his business, his money. A storyteller is a person who takes risks with emotions, who takes risks with, with something that is not tangible, but by trying to do something radically different, you can take it to another level. Now, sometimes what will happen is when you take risks, it will go wrong. I think it is bound to go wrong. And that is where a storyteller learns. So when you make a mistake, then you learn, oh, maybe I should have not pushed so much here, or this story could not impact this audience as much. And each time you do that again and again, you become better as a storyteller. And that's the learning you get by taking those risks. Now, risk could be very small. It could be, trying something new with an audience. It could be trying a new way, or it could be very big, where you share a very, let's say, negative story. But generally, you will find that positive stories are the ones that really inspire people. But you could use a negative story to make someone understand if he or she is not understanding it the normal way. So I would say you should take risks and you should make bigger blunders. And I have made several of them.
Oh, that basically reminds me. I want to ask your story. How did you become a storyteller? I've read something about you, like you you were a programmer, then you did your LLB, then you did at least read about psychology. I mean, they're all different streams and they don't connect actually. So, and then now you're a storyteller. What's that?
So I think the journey began during childhood when I used to read stories. I used to really enjoy reading stories, and then I started seeing stories happening in my life. So that was even more interesting when you see some incident happening. And I used to always imagine as a kid. So I had this daydreaming tendency, and I used to imagine things in my life. And then after a particular point, I started to pick up writing. So um, I think it was in my childhood only I started to write. I was very interested in poetry, and I used to write. But then, just became an engineer just because I think those days we never had so many opportunities, and I think I was very scared to take a route which was different. So financial situations were such that I had to do that. But after I did that, I think things went in the wrong direction because I just started programming and doing other stuff on software and all of that. But I continued hobby writing, and it is only after 15, 16 years of working that I thought, okay, I think I should quit now. So I just one fine day I quit, and I did not know that I should become a storyteller that day. I just quit my job, and then I started to pick up some assignments. They didn't work out very well. Then I did a few startups. They did not work out well. So roughly a couple of years were very tough, and nothing worked out, and I lost a lot of time, effort, and money in this whole process. So one day I was just sitting in my living room and wondering, what should I be doing now in my life? So that is where it was. And I had a phone in my hand, and I thought, I had this idea earlier that, maybe if I share stories of what I have gone through and what I've seen, true stories, because a lot of stuff that I was seeing in social media was all very false. People portray that, you can get success very easily. You
Yeah,
also see everybody succeeding.
right.
Strangely, you find everybody is successful, but I am not doing well. So you start to wonder what is happening. And that's when I thought, hey, let's just start writing something. I asked myself, what do I like to do? I said, okay, I just like to write. So I said, okay, let's just start writing. So I started off on Facebook. It didn't work because, Facebook is a very informal platform. And I was trying to think about informal stories, and informal stories did not work on an informal platform. Now, that's a very interesting thing. It's generally the other way around, that you will find that. So, for example, on LinkedIn, it's a formal platform, professional. Informal stuff works very well there. And that's how I kind of experimented with it. I think I started writing, and I thought, okay, let me just continue writing. There wasn't any big thing happening, but maybe 10 people viewed what I wrote initially. I had some 1,000 followers or something like that. And then I started writing, and I started to enjoy the process of writing, just writing every day, something or the other. I started with maybe 1 hour every day, went to 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I started writing now 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day. I was just enjoying it, and I never bothered, okay, who's reading, who's not. But I think after a month or so, I started to see a lot of traction happening on my posts. By that time, I'd written some 40, 50 posts or so. And then I think this continued, and after I crossed around 100 posts, roughly 3 months or so, that's when I just counted once and I saw, oh, I'm clocking maybe 1 million views. That's when I realized, oh, this is big. So I never planned that I would become a storyteller. I never planned that all of this should happen this way. So I think it was very organic and it was very natural. It was not something that I have to make a goal in life and go after that goal. That I feel is a very limiting way, because that's what I did for many years of my life. And then, you only go a little lower than your goals. So you don't go beyond and achieve bigger things. So that is how the journey started. And so I just continued writing. And I think by the end of, after writing for 1 year continuously, by that time I was clocking some 5 million views a month. And also the followers, within a year I had roughly 25,000 followers.
Wow.
So that was very good, and I thought, okay, this is really good. And then I just continued writing. I never stopped. So from 25,000 followers, it went to next year, it was 75,000 followers, by which time LinkedIn, I think after 1 year of writing, I thought LinkedIn would recognize me, but they did not. So then I was very disappointed, because I had that expectation, right, that that I should get recognized. And then I thought, okay, there's no point in, why do you need recognitions? You keep doing your good work and that's it. So I continued writing. So by the second year, I got recognized by LinkedIn. That time I was not expecting it, so it happened. And then the followers just kept going up. So 75,000 to 100,000, 200,000, 3, 400, 500,000. So it just kept going up. And then I realized that, I just have to continue writing. And if I stop, then it'll all go away. And that's it. So I continued writing. So I've written 2,500 stories so far. And that's it. So every day, earlier I used to write one story a day. Now I write 2 stories a day. So it just continued. And 4 years of writing now. Early morning I get up, I write first few hours of my morning, and then I begin my day. So it's like brushing my teeth now. So you just have to do it. It comes naturally, and I just enjoy the process of writing. Through this journey, what also happened is a lot of people started writing to me. People started sharing their personal stories. I remember a lady wrote to me that she was being beaten up by her mother in front of her 10-year-old child, physically beaten up. And I was like really shocked. And so then I started to realize that there's so much not so good things happening in this world, and I'm very lucky. And maybe I should do something. So people started to write, because I used to write, the whatever I felt, whatever I went through, I just wrote truthfully. And people started to connect with me, even though they'd never seen me, they'd never interacted with me. People would talk about their personal lives and what's happening, what's horrible things are happening, and all of that. And that's when I started to realize that, look, I'm beginning to make an impact. And that just grew over time. And people started, more and more people would reach out, and they would say that, look, what you are writing is making a difference to the way I think. So then I thought, hey, change is painful, right? So is there an easy way to change? So I thought the answer was storytelling. So if you write a story, and if a person changes, you don't have to go through that pain to change. So why do you have to go through all of that? Now, I had studied psychology for 3-4 years, during my working years, just to understand myself better. So I started to implement that in my writing. I had also studied a bit of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and I'd done several certifications and training programs around HR. So I started to kind of implement some of those things in my writings. And that's it. I started to slowly, every day I would improve myself, So I think I was a average writer, maybe a little above average. And then I just started to kind of write, and I just became better at it. After writing for roughly 10,000 hours, I think now, for example, I don't need to edit. So if I write something, it's very strange, but very rarely do I change what I've written. So I don't do editing, I write live. Sometimes I just open up LinkedIn and write on my phone and just paste it there. So I also started to realize that this process is so beautiful that I connect with myself for a few hours every day, and I become clearer about my own self. So when you make a relationship with yourself, you spend time with yourself, you can build a relationship with anybody in this world. Because the first thing is that if you can't make a relationship with yourself, then how can you with the world? So that's pretty much it. In between, yes, I got trolled a lot. Initially, when I got viral, then people start to think, okay, who is this guy? Why is his stuff going viral, and he's just writing for the sake of it and all of that. So initially, did. So I think maybe after the first 6 months of writing, I started to get trolled miserably, and then I mean, the trolls went away after it. I just crossed a particular level. So it was my test, so that how do I behave to trolls? But really, trolls made me viral. I think that was the best thing that happened, and it tested me. And people would, and sometimes people are really evil or negative, right? Because I also realized that people are, most of the world, everybody is going through very tough lives, and hence trolling is a very nice release mechanism, that there is somebody there, just dump your stuff on that somebody and you feel nice about it. Yeah, so that was so I realized this later. Sometimes I made some mistakes. For example, I remember I wrote one post which was on a certain religious sentiment that I wrote, and that didn't go down really well. And then I realized the mistake I was making, that you should never write on politics or on religion in India, especially. So yeah, I made some mistakes, and then slowly I got better at it. And I mean, I just enjoy and love writing, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think I can do anything better than that.
So, how do you select stories? What kind of story do you want to say to people? On what basis? Is it like someone would ask you to do it, or what's that process?
So, right, when I write early in the morning, it's like rainfall. If you ask God, how do you select when the rainfall should come or when should it happen? I mean, there is no process. It's basically, I just pick up my phone and I write on the phone, and I just wait for the thought to come, and it comes.
So it's a
So I've never
random
faced
topic.
it. Yeah. So anything that comes, or sometimes what happens is, okay, from yesterday, for example, like yesterday, I was just thinking about multiple sources of income, and a lot of people are struggling in their lives because they don't have multiple sources of income. So today I wrote on that. So sometimes it's any thought that comes in that's been in my subconscious for yesterday till today, or randomly, if a random thought comes today, I just write it, and that's it. I don't have any particular process. I mean, it's very rare that I make notes of during the day. A lot of people I've seen, they say, I'll keep noting down what topics to write, make a list of those topics. I did do nothing of that. So I'm not a very organized person that way, because creativity cannot be organized. You can't say
So
that
this is
you yeah. No, go
the
ahead.
reason I was asking is because time and again people have raised their voice again, empowerment, especially women empowerment and things like that. But there is still a lot we have to do, because breaking the glass ceiling is still a big issue. So, are you working on that? Do you have stories basically, break those glass ceilings?
I think first you have to break it for yourself. If you don't break the glass ceiling in your head, then how can you break the
Yeah.
glass ceiling anywhere? And whether it is for women or men, or for some other gender also, for that matter, I think you have to become comfortable with yourself, because most of the time it's we who are not comfortable with ourselves. So if let's say somebody stammers, or somebody is short, or if somebody is not good looking, or if somebody is not able to talk properly in English, or I mean, these are also some things that go on in our heads, right? When you're fearful, your worries, all these things. Now you've got to get comfortable with these things for your own self first, and then you can use these stories for you could write stories about anything. I mean, you were stuck anywhere. As for women, for example, I think storytelling is a very good tool for women to be able to really improve the way they communicate, because essentially, if you can use storytelling in your business world, you can
Yes.
market yourself better. You become, people understand you. Your audience, likes what you are sharing. So I think there's no such But I think it will all start with you being comfortable with your own skin. And if you're comfortable with your own skin, with your own fears, then the fears will go away. I mean, a lot of people ask me this question, that how will I overcome my fears? I think the fears overcome the day you talk about it openly and you're not afraid of it anymore. And when you're not afraid, the fear will go away, because the fear stays till it's there inside you.
So there is this somebody had message saying that there are a lot of frustration that they face in the workplace, and
Yeah.
basically that countering negativity. So when you have that, how much ever you try to boast yourself with all the positivity, it still doesn't work. That aura is so negative. So in this situation, how can a storyteller help such employees or people?
See, I think negativity is inside us. We all have a Jekyll and a Hyde. We all have a devil inside us. Now, how do we channelize that devil is the key. Now, for some people, they have put that devil in a dungeon. I mean, old times used to have these tales that you hide the devil in the dungeon and you make a wall and you trap it there. But the devil is always going to come out one day. So I think, why should you even hide the devil? You just be open about it. But when other people are behaving, let's say, in a negative way or toxic behaviors at workplaces, and this is very, very common, that's because I think human beings are going through, I mean, human life is tough. There is nothing easy about it, right? Because you get A, then you want B, you get B, you want C, and this whole process is endless. So eventually, at some point, you will start to feel depressed, sad, negative, because also there are billions of people in this world. So there are people going ahead of you every single moment, and we are not comfortable with other people going ahead of us. Basically, that's where the key is. And most of the time, we're always comparing in our heads that, oh, this person, we started together, but this person has gone ahead of me. That's where toxicity comes in, because when you are trying to get other people down, and that's where I feel that we experience toxicity also because we are toxic. There is some part of us which is negative, hence we attract negativity in our lives. So the moment you shift, then you start attracting good people in your life. I mean, if let's just imagine for a minute that you are attracting bad people in your life, and there has to be something that why they are coming into your life. There is a lesson to be learned, and we're not learning that lesson fast. Now, storytelling should be again first for yourself. That can you become a positive person? Once you have that, then you can. I think then it's up to you how much time you want to spend on that negativity. People who are experiencing toxicity at work, at some point they are bothered by that negativity, because I think they are indulging in that. Maybe you can just ignore it. And so in my working life, I would just kind of ignore it and focus on my work, and I wouldn't bother too much about it. Yes, I found that people are, so I would just go ahead and do my stuff. And then storytelling is a good way to even showcase your work. If you've done something interesting, talk about it. And you can only battle negativity with positivity. There is no other way you can battle it. When the positivity will go beyond that negativity, then it's like the when you mix the two colors, right? If you've seen children mixing colors, if you mix the black and the white color, you'll get a gray. If you add more black, it will become blacker. If you add more white, it will eventually become white one day. So I think you have to have positivity inside you, and you should be, internally motivated to kind of overcome all of this.
That's an amazing take, actually. When you said the toxicity is within you, that was a very strong, point. And now it actually, I am trying to reflect all the things that I'm going through. That's really amazing.
Yeah, I
So can
think
I say that?
what also happens, we feel that we are not negative because we are not self-aware. That is also
Right,
because
right.
self-empathy is lacking. Most of the time we lack empathy towards self first. We are not understanding what is happening inside us because we don't spend time with us. We spend time with our mobiles, with people around us. And then eventually we feel that no, other people are wrong or bad or whatever. But the toxicity and those things are within us only. So when you can overcome that, then you can overcome anything.
Right. So I think I could tell that the storytelling is basically now in today's time. It can be called as an employee wellness program. That's going to be the future.
Yes. Yes. So
And
storytelling can be used for making people feel good. It can be used for improving self-awareness, improving emotional
absolutely,
quotient, all of that.
absolutely. I remember this film, Jab We Met. Have you seen the movie?
Uh,
They have this technique. If you're really angry with someone, you flush that person's picture and you feel good about it. So, do you give
yeah, yeah.
such kind of tips or techniques to people when you go for when you go for do your sessions?
So yeah, we do our we do I do a storytelling workshop, which is a 2 day workshop, almost 9 hours. We do 5 hours at a stretch. We do in that workshop 4 to 5 hours, and in that we cover a lot of these things. But one of the easiest way to kind of get negativity out of a system is to write about it. So basically, what you do is that you start. Let's say you start today. Now the same day of the week, same time today, you stop writing. So from
Yeah.
now till 7 days, because basically human life cycle is that 7 day cycle. You know that 7 days you'll experience a micro life. Now today you go back. Let's say today is whatever weekday. You're upset, not happy about what happened today at work. So some stuff will happen in your head. Some chatter will happen. So you write about it. And if you get, let's say, a negative feeling, sentiment, write about it. You have a fear, worry, write about it. And you just keep writing for 7 days continuously, whatever comes in your head. Storytelling can be done only when your head is clear. So this is like say clearing stuff. This is also clearing your head. And maybe you have a diary and you keep writing about it. And if you do it for 7 days continuously, you will never have a problem, because now the head has become empty and it has emptied everything onto a piece of paper. Now you want to flush that, throw that, burn that, that's up to you. But basically, you put that on a piece of paper, you put that in a diary. Now you wouldn't, that will not trouble you anymore. Why it will not trouble you? Because it's already in front of you now.
Yeah.
Now, now most of the people who, if you can do this for 7 days properly, you'll generally get over this. For some people, you may require maybe one more week, because it's, let's say, it's really been going on for decades. You have a lot of crap in your head, and some people have this tendency to think too much. That once you empty everything, then when your brain is completely free and empty, that's when you start to create beautiful things in your life. So beautiful thoughts, beautiful relationships, beautiful ideas, beautiful businesses. So that is how you can do it. But if you can do this for 7 days, that's like I would say the best way. And I've seen several people doing this and getting benefits out of it.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Kocher. It was wonderful talking to you. I mean, I've learned so much, and there are so many US. They are already giving us so many positive thoughts, and that makes me feel like I have to learn so much. I have to do so much, and I was trying to reminisce all my past and things like that. Probably I have to do a lot of meditation and start writing, like you were saying, 7 days writing. So thank you so much, and thank you guys.
Thank
Aparna,
you.
you've been great, and Aparna was so inspired, and Bandhan and Shafi, they're all so inspired with your stories. Thank you so much, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Asha, and I wish everybody luck, and enjoy reading stories, writing stories, and telling stories to yourself and to everybody around you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye bye.